Hello everyone, this is Stacy with SF Johnson Consulting and Construction Services, and in this video we are going to discuss the basics of structural estimating. And what we mean by structural estimating, we're going to be looking at all the things that we look at in the structural set. So we will be looking at the foundation, and for concrete, that is the only concrete scope of work that's in the structural set, although that may not be the only concrete, of course, in the project, especially if it's from the ground up, right? You'll have asphalt concrete in the site plan, but if you're the concrete person, you're going to do that concrete. You're also going to do the concrete on the site plan. But this is specifically for the structural set. And so the only concrete in the structural set is the foundation, any column pads, and anything associated with that. And so for this project, we had, this is our crash facility where we had to, in the structural set, install or adapt some existing concrete to, we had to like make a pit. And so what we had to do always when you have existing concrete, you're going to have to cut the concrete first. So there's a cost for the cutting, and then there's a cost for removing the concrete. So never forget that. And then this was one of the pits, the paint pit that we had to create. And what this is all of the walls were 8-inch concrete walls, and it was also recessed down with an 8-inch concrete foundation. And so what is this? This is a call out, right? Where they're going to send us somewhere else to look at the construction of this. But this we were able to do from this page. And what do we also have here? Well, this automatically tells us that we have some kind of columns that are going to be installed in, looks like the existing foundation. Yeah, in the existing foundation. And so what we need to do is determine what the height, the width, and the depth of the column pads. And so in any structural set, they're going to give you all of the structural components as they apply. So the column pad or the pad footing, it's 2x6, so square, 2x6 square, and the depth is 1 foot 4 inches. And so if you have a good cost book, it will give you the cost for a column pad that's similar to that. You may have to add the additional reinforcement, but you'll be able to do it. Okay, and here it's telling us about lintels. So a lintel is basically just a steel header. So headers are typically wood, right? Well, lintels are headers, but they're made out of steel. So anytime you see lintel, just know it's the same as a header, but it's made out of steel. And the bearing plates for the column pads that connect the column to the bolt. And then we have some beams for which we'll be able to, it'll be an I or W or C beam, which is something by something, and then we'll look on the plan and that'll tell us what that is. And it's telling us we have the beam, then we have to infill it with grout once we place it. And this is an existing building where we have to do some additional foundation work. Okay, and this is so when we have structural, right, that is our foundation. That's any new roof framing or anything of that nature. So here we have some new beams that are going to be placed along the existing metal joists. Okay, so they're W beams, W12 by 19. So what's that mean? That means that they are able to hold 19 pounds per linear foot, and so we'll measure how many linear feet altogether, and we'll multiply that by 19, and that tells us how many pounds, because when we do the beams, C beams, W beams, I beams, it's fabricated metals, and those are priced by the pound. And so we need to be able to determine, just for these types of beams, how many pounds we are talking about. And again, we take the second digit, multiply by the length, that gives us how many pounds. And then we also had some C beams, right? So we have different ones. So what is this? This one says that the strength of this C beam will hold 12.7 pounds per linear foot. And so we do the same thing. However many linear feet times 20.7, that gives us how many pounds, and then we're able to put that on our estimate. Okay, so when it comes to the column pads, you have to have a good indication from your cost book, how to price it. There's no way to guess that. So you really have to have the tools you need when it comes to this kind of stuff. And when it comes to your beams too, you have to have a good cost book to tell you, because based on the weight, it goes from 0 to 20 pounds. It's a certain amount of cost per pound. Then we go from 20 to 50 pounds. It's a certain cost. And then from 50 to 75 pounds, and I'm talking weight per linear foot, that second digit. And anything over 100 pounds per linear foot, that's like a specialty thing. There's no cost book that's going to have that information. Okay, so that's very important. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on hold, because I don't think I have the structural estimate up, so I'm going to place you on hold for a second while I give you kind of a visual on what your estimate should look like for the structural portion. So be right back. Okay, so now we're looking at the estimate for actually that project. And so we have the column pads, and there were 6 of those, and from all of this gives us we get all this information from the cost book. So the cost for the formwork, the steel, and for the concrete, and it's per column pad. And here is our C1. So that was what that was. Our columns are 3.5 by 3.5 by 1/4. Each one was 10 feet. So we estimated, from the section view, it's 10 feet high, and we have 7 of them. And so those we are able to get, hollow structural steel, you're able to get a cost per linear foot. So we got that for that. The base plate and the anchor bolts, and then now the fabricated metals, right? We had W8 by 18, or 19 linear feet. So we had 342 pounds, and then there was a bottom plate anchored to it. So that was another cost for that one. And I believe we had all 3. C-beam, C12, we had 228 pounds of that, and then the bolts, and then we also had a 12 by 19, and there was 522. We had 29 linear feet of that, and so 522 pounds. And then all of the other things, all of the supports, right? Bearing plates and supports, and then the new foundation. So let's go back to the plan. The new foundation, and let's look at some section views. It's important that you're able to go to the section views. This is the pit that we talked about, right? The paint booth, where now we have the section view, right? Section view, you got to really be able to determine and take your time and look at stuff like this, because the section view is as if we took this is a knife, right? We cut straight down, and then we opened it up, and now we're standing in the middle of that, and this is what we see. Okay, so it gives us a more detailed view, so we can determine all of our rebar totals. We have a number 5 every 8 inches both ways. Okay, so when you know you have your number 5, number 4, whatever, every 12 inches, 8 inches, it's important to do, right? Do the conversion. How many linear feet do you have, right? Change those linear feet to inches, divide by the placement. That tells you how many positions you have to lay the rebar, and then however long it is. And then if it's a square, you can just multiply by 2. I think in most cases, every time I've done it twice, whether it's a square or it's a rectangle, it's always been the same amount of rebar every, whether I did it in this way and did the equation or this way, and it's always twice. So try it for yourself. I don't know, but just do it both ways so you're not short. But when it says each way, you have to do it each way, right? This way, and then that's what these are showing, and then those dots are showing it's moving away from us. Okay, so it's really important that you're able to read section views very well. And it's not an easy thing, so just, take your time. And there is a video on the 4 views in the that's probably one of the very first videos I uploaded to try to give you a good understanding of the 4 views: plan view, section view, detail view, elevation view, and how to float from one to the other so you can have a clear understanding of the construction. The takeouts and the call outs and all that stuff. Okay, so what we have here is basically this pit, right? These are the walls. They're 8 inches wide, and that's the reinforcement. So what it has this ledger, pretty much the perimeter of the whole thing. Pretty much the perimeter, that's what this is showing. Okay, so structural is very detailed oriented, and you really have to just take your time and probably make a few mistakes before you get it all right. But the main thing is, if you want to really do accurate rebar totals, just take it one piece by one piece with 6-inch 3x8 hollow steel at the 18, angle set with at the 18th, entire pit. Yeah, okay. With at the 18th. This is, I gotta look into the hollow steel with, okay, every 18 inches, entire pit perimeter. Okay, and then the vertical, right, and then the horizontal. So the vertical is the up and down conduit. So you have to say, well, it's that many linear feet, and it goes the whole perimeter too. So that many linear feet at the 8 inches. So what's the perimeter? Right? However many linear feet, change it into inches, divide by 8. Then you have that many placements times the length at each placement. So really easy to do. Okay, and this is our awning. Okay, where we had to, now this is an existing wall, right? So what do we have to do? A couple things. Had to drill the holes in here. So there's 4, right? We have a section view, so we have 2 on one side, 2 on the other side of these plates. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 plates, 4, 8 screws, and then we have to drill through the beam. Okay, so all of that is actually on our estimate. Foundation, paint booth walls, paint booth foundation, and then we have some demo of that, some rods. And the demo shouldn't be on here unless they just caught us by surprise and it wasn't even on the demo plan, which those rods weren't. Okay, so awning support, the base plate, the anchor bolts, drilling the holes. See how much drilling holes is through steel? It's very expensive, but it's only 2 feet, so it wasn't too bad. Okay, so you want to make sure you include everything that's in the set. Structural could be one of the hardest ones, but what are you doing? Structural, you're doing concrete foundations. My grandkids gave me a cold for Thanksgiving. Concrete foundations, column pads, columns, beams. Could be roof components, right? Because if you have a single story building, the structural is the foundation, the exterior walls, beams, columns, and the roof. The roof. So if we're putting new holes in the roof, we have to make sure we secure those holes in the roof. Okay, so, and this is our new wall elevation. This is our 18.75. Basically, we're making an opening for a new overhead door. So we had to have that beam. So that's the elevation view of that. We have the plan view, so we only see it from here, right? So we had to include these on both sides and a new beam and the connectors. And then in the demo portion, if you saw the demo, we already accounted for putting a hole in the exterior wall. Okay, so to produce a good structural, let's see. We had to, let's see, the drill in the holes. I think that was for the pit. Let's go back. For this, let's the A over 2 AS201. AS201. 201. Where is it? Right here. A. Yeah, so that was our trench drains. So we had to put some rebar in there. And I believe we had to drill some holes. Yeah, in the foundation. Oh, in the foundation we had to drill holes. So that's where that came from. Okay, so you have to really be, and that's our column pad and how we're connecting the column. The anchor bolts for, all of those things have to be reflected piece by piece. That's why a good cost book is valuable, because it's going to take you forever to get this done, right? And I mean, I was lost. I'm like, how do you price a beam? But yeah, with enough research, it showed me, you got to figure out how many pounds it is. Okay, so just go through your set. Everything on your set should be reflected on your estimate. So the person you're doing the estimate for, right, the estimator has to be able to see the project when it's finished and be able to look at all of this mess that they give you, okay, and be able to break it down. So if you have any questions, roof framing. Oh, okay, we didn't go over this. Okay, so that's the all of those the opening. See, they built. They only show you one in the section view, but they actually had 3 new garage door openings. Okay, so. Oh no, here it is. And they had 1, 2, 3, 4 new garage door openings. This was something else. But that's all the fabricated metals. So that's why I said we had, 29 feet? How many? Of lintel one? Let me see. 74 feet, yeah. That was that 522 pounds or whatever. Okay, so we had to shore up all of the secure all of the new exhaust fans in the roof, because that's weight, right? So we have to be able to make sure it doesn't fall through the roof. And so that's all the exhaust fan secure bracing that we have to account for. C301. Let's look at that real quick. C301. C. Okay, so yeah, 10-inch, 12 gauge on each side of that. Okay, so we can go back to that. You see, basically that's going on each side and you have to connect it. Okay, and then D, you connect it like this. Okay, so you got to be able to make sure you know how to get from what they're trying to tell you to the next thing and get it on your estimate. And make sure you get it all together. Somewhere around here. Fan supports, 240 feet. And then the Simpson tie L70. So much fun. But yeah, structural is no joke. Okay, that and electrical probably, and excavation, especially if you have bad plans, it can be three of your most difficult of estimates to put together. Okay, so this is the basics of structural estimating, right? Just your structural set, and only the concrete in the S plans. If you have concrete in the C plans, civil set, it's not on here. You don't put that on here. Everything is separated just this way because it's all its own thing, right? So, even if there is interior building concrete, it won't be on here and it won't be on the civil set. It'll be on the estimate associated with the architectural set. Okay, so we'll come up with a video in detail to show you like how you separate estimates, because a lot of people just throw everything on there, and those are the estimates that get thrown away, right? Because it shows that the person doing it, they don't know what should be on their estimate. So unless somebody specifically says, like for the electrician, put the trenching on that, well, that's different because the electrician's job is to be an electrician. And the structural set it's understood that these things are on it, so all of these will be on a structural estimate. Concrete, the foundation, any of the structural components, all of the beams and columns and stuff. It's understood those will be all on the same estimate. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know, and please give me your comments, and thank you for your very nice comments and your likes and all that good stuff. Please continue to like. Let me know if there's something in particular you need help in and you want to know, because there's very few things about this mess that I don't know and I like to share. So thanks a lot. Email me at education@sfjohnsonconsulting.com. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and look for the next video. Talk to you soon.